I've been on this spree of trying basically every major MMO recently, and folded. You can see just how
What the fuck just happened? The fuck?
the first one to ever have this thought, but
Okay.
I don't think we're getting another good MMO for a while.
Ooh. Jimmy.
Other games that come out, they follow a very similar life cycle. A big mountain slope. You start out at the top, everyone's talking about.
There is one game there is one MMO that defies this death spiral. You know what it is? Old school RuneScape. Old school RuneScape has been slowly, no, not Taurus Land. You guys think that, guys, do you really think people are going to be talking about Taurus Land in 2 months? Shut up. Shut the hell up. Old school RuneScape has been slow cooking for 12 years now. Right now, dude, OSRS got released in 2013, 11 years ago. It was like January 2013. Right now, at this exact moment, is the biggest, most hype, most popular, most concurrent players it's ever had. Seriously. OSRS has been on the up and up and up on the slow growth. It's crazy. As a WoW player, I'm jealous. Like, I wish we had developers like that. Blizzard's got to hire those guys and bring them over, man. God damn.
About the game, and it kind of just slopes down and loses its player base over time. I mean, it's a typical life cycle for a game, very natural. MMORPGs, on the other hand, follow a very different looking life cycle. They come in all shapes and sizes. They might start out with a bang, they might start out at the bottom and work their way up. But basically, the way you know if an MMO is good and it had any sort of success, long term, over the span of many years, it kind of looks like a real fucked up EKG, like it's the game's pulse or something. Never healthy or stable, but it's there, which is what counts. It's been quite a while since we've seen a real banger of an MMO. It kind of feels like the MMO industry has always just been this game of king of the hill, and the ones at the top have ascended so high that there's really no catching up to them. It's really hard to imagine them being dethroned, and there's not going to be many that try, because not only is developing a massive multiplayer online role-playing game one of the hardest things you can do as a video game developer.
A lot of people say, oh, MMOs, they cost so much money to create. And it's true, MMOs do cost a lot of money. I think that's actually not the biggest hurdle with making a good MMO. The biggest hurdle, you need the human capital. You need the human creative capital. You could have $1 billion to spend on making an MMO. If you can't find the right guys, if you can't find the right MMO savant geniuses to actually create the damn thing and piece it together, they've got the right vision, okay? It's never going to happen regardless of how much fucking money you have. You know one such example of this? What's an example of an MMO that had a ton of money thrown at it and within 1 month it was dead? New World. New World had an insane budget. Flop.
But it's also probably the dumbest thing you can do. We can't go into something like that until I tell you about something that someone's going to pay me to tell you about. So 2023 was full of health issues for me, which led to a lot of involuntary weight loss. It wasn't fun. So this year I've made it a priority to make sure that I'm getting everything I need for both mental and physical health. And AG1 is helping me do just that. It's got 75 different vitamins and minerals that supports body, brain, and gut health. Very important things to keep healthy. And one thing I love about it, it combats visible signs of aging, which is incredibly important for me as Jagex continues to release quest after quest, making it impossible to end my series. AG1 can also help boost focus and mental clarity, and I've always struggled with sustaining energy throughout the day, and after a while of taking AG1, I noticed that I was not clawing and scratching for caffeine throughout the day. I just put water into the little bottle here. I do 8 ounces of water because it actually tastes good. I don't need to water it down at all. I shake it up a bunch, like get my cardio in for the day, and I drink it. It's a very easy process. As someone who's trying to be super mindful of nutrition and recovery, I highly recommend giving AG1 a try. You can try it for yourself by clicking the link in the description, and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Big thank you to AG1 for sponsoring today's video.
There you have it.
The thing that got me thinking about this the most came from a situation that's been kind of brewing up over the last 3 years. In June 2021, Riot Games put a post up on their website calling for any game developers that are wanting to enter the world of MMORPGs with them. And this was amazing news because it's pretty common knowledge at this point that Riot Games tends to not miss. The things they've been making, pretty good. Well, the MMO community was welcoming them with open arms. If you've kept up with the MMO world in the last 3-4 years, you know that the community is kind of still waiting for that game to come along that's just going to change everything. There was no real official news released for the next 2 years. The only set-in-stone thing we got was that Greg Street, who was the producer of the project, was leaving the company. Pretty soon after, he announced that he was launching his own company.
He said, I'm going to go make my own MMO. And also, by the way, Greg Street worked on the WoW team up until, I don't know what, like MOP? And then he stepped away from WoW.
Making his own MMO. It was just very disappointing because he was extremely involved in the community and just had a lot of indicators that he really cared about this and was going to do his best to make it an actual game-changing, enjoyable MMO. Obviously, hope for the best. But now, about a year later, there's whispers and rumors that this Riot MMO might not even be happening, which honestly would be the least surprising thing I've heard in the last...
What we know about it right now is that they kind of like scrapped it. They're starting over with it. I would guess it's never going to come out. I think it's probably dead.
3 hours. At least. Riot Games has set a huge bar for themselves, which has raised everybody's expectations for everything they ever make. I can't tell you in confidence whether or not this game's happening or not. What I can tell you without a doubt is that it has been a bumpy ride behind the scenes. And if you'd like to see what Riot is most likely fearing, if you look up New World's player account history...
Oh, that's not good.
And see how that unfolded, you can see just how risky it is to release an MMO in the modern era of gaming. I've got around 760 hours played on New World and was a part of the community during the rise and fall of it. And I also saw how quickly that new and refreshing ideas can completely drain the life out of a player base if done incorrectly. New World game design caught up with itself. Not really sure how long that game's gonna be up for. Probably some of the most fun I've had gaming.
Well, as of about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we learned that Amazon Game Studios is now converting New World into a single-player game. They're stepping away from the MMO experience. It's going to be a single one-player game.
During its peak. And I really wish things were handled differently so that it wasn't in the condition it's in now. It was a good game with some crucial things wrong with it, ended up being the reason for its downfall. An MMO can only handle so many mistakes to the point where...
Is it? Yes, and they're porting it over to the PS5. It's going to be a PS5 port, and you can play it single player.
Or even a company that gets their funds from Amazon themselves can't really do anything for you anymore. So there's been some sprinkles of MMO here and there. A lot of underwhelming Kickstarter projects, some that are in a permanent early access phase, ones that scam hundreds of thousands of dollars somehow. But in the last like 5 years, I think New World and Lost Ark are the only two MMOs that can claim they've had any kind of success. I've never played Lost Ark before. I tried looking up some stuff to get some more insight about it, but just like any MMO you try to get information on, it's players that have hundreds or thousands of hours just complaining about things, not giving any real insight to the casual experience of the game. What I can tell you is that it's nowhere near
pay-to-win trash. Also, like, I don't really feel comfortable calling Lost Ark an MMO. It kind of, it's like, I don't know, man. Is Lost Ark really an MMO? Come on.
Competing with the top dogs of the MMO world. So between Riot's situation and New World's fumble, it got me thinking, why is this so hard? What is going on?
What happened? Okay.
Making an MMO has to be the most irresponsible, stupidest idea you could ever go through with. In the last 10 years, there have been 20 MMOs notable enough to make the Wikipedia page, and 12 of those are still up and running. Obviously, there's been more than...
Alien? I never even heard of that. New World is active, but also dead and being converted into a single-player game. Camelot Unchained in development. I don't really know anything about that. Lost Ark is like reasonably successful still, but it's like kind of not an MMO really. Boundless, Space Fantasy, I don't even know what the hell that is. Shroud of the Avatar Forsaken Virtues. This is like the most Chinese name of all time. Oh, it's free to play, that means it's pay to win. Yeah, this is probably Chinese shit. Albion Online. I think Albion is like reasonably successful still to this day also, although it's like a very niche audience. Adventure Quest 3D. I guess that's still around. Maple Story 2. Order and Chaos 2 Redemption, Royal Quest, Skyforge, Aura Kingdom. I haven't even heard of half of these. BDO, I think, is somewhat successful. The Elder Scrolls Online, Firefall. I don't even think that ever came out. This got canceled. I know that I think Mark Kern was working on this. Prime World, Toontown. Dude, you can still play Toontown? I remember I played Toontown a little bit when I was like 10 or 11 or something, man. I don't know. Something like that. Toontown rewritten. God damn. I'm going to log in. I'm going to be goofy. Okay, I'm going to get real goofy with it. Wildstar, It's Over, and World of the Living Dead. I don't... Oh, this is based off of the Walking Dead universe, I think, and It's Over. There was also at one point a Battlestar Galactica MMO. I remember seeing the ads for that like 10 years ago. I guess it never made the list. It's over.
20 MMOs released, but I'm just not counting the ones that Josh Strife Hayes finds buried in the deepest depths of the deep web that peaked at 23 concurrent players.
Okay.
They don't really count right now. It's definitely a dark age. Now, I would say when World of Warcraft went live in 2004, that is when the true golden age started.
Oh my god, hold up. This is the truth, okay? In 2004, early 2005, World of Warcraft released in Europe. In 2004, November, it was NA. Anyway, World of Warcraft releases 2004, 2005. This is akin to the first guy discovering gold in California. It's like, oh wow, in this riverbed, I found a big fucking chunk of gold. Boom. Gold rush. The gold, everyone's coming over. We got to make a new MMO. We need an MMO. We need an MMO. We need an MMO. You had Pirates of the Caribbean online. You had Battlestar Galactica online. You had Toontown online. You had Star Wars on. You had like every universe. Okay, Lord of the Rings MMO. Turn it into an MMO. We need an MMO. Doesn't matter what IP, what franchise. Hello Kitty online adventure MMO. Everything. Turn it into an MMO.
The true golden age started. Some may say that when Ultima Online came out, it kind of changed the game. I don't really think an MMO golden age existed without WoW. It doesn't feel right to me. WoW did for MMOs what Fortnite did to Battle Royales. Because you may have noticed once Fortnite saw success in its little...
Can I tell you something super weird, man? My wife and I, about a month and a half ago, we rewatched the Hunger Games movies. And I realized... Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen invented, as far as I know, this entire battle royale genre. Like Fortnite, PUBG. Doesn't it all go back to the concept of the Hunger Games? Was there a video game where you were doing battle royale gameplay prior to the Hunger Games? I think it all goes back to Hunger Games. Well, listen, you say DayZ, H1Z1. I remember, listen, this is after Hunger Games, though. H1Z1, Arma, they had Battle Royale stuff. It all came out and was inspired by Hunger Games. In fact, back in the day, all of these mods for pre-existing games were called Hunger Games mods. It was the H1Z1 Hunger Games mod, right? It was like the Arma 2 Hunger Games mod. It was the Minecraft Hunger Games mod. They were all referential to Hunger Games. And the year is like, I don't even know, 2010, 11. They all called themselves Minecraft Hunger Games server. Arma 2 Hunger Games server, right? It all goes back to the Hunger Games hype. The movies were super popular and people said, man, I want to do that. I want to be in the Hunger Games. And so you have people making mods. I used to play so much Minecraft Hunger Games mods back in the day, and the year is like probably 2012 or 2011 or something. Long time ago.
Side game mode of Battle Royale that wasn't even what they wanted their players to try. Caused about 55 to 100 others to emerge. Once WoW showcased that you can build a long-term player base.
Look at these dumbasses. They're on their way to Onyxia right now, of course. They don't even know that they can jump off the boat. They're actually running out of the main gate to get to Onyxia. Not even knowing 3, 2, 1, jump. Embarrassing.
With as much success as it had, with as much money as it generated, not only with...
Wait, are they? Wait, no, half the raid isn't even level 60. What are these guys doing? He's level 37. That guy's level 35. What are these guys doing? I don't know. Okay, well, I don't know
Its
then.
initial launch in 2004, but with its expansions in 2007 and on, I mean, how do you not convince investors to let you try and build another WoW? So once this golden age started, much like the Battle Royale boom, we also got a few really, really good games to emerge alongside
Wizard 101. This was super popular. Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, a lot of these actually were popular. Worm Online. Holy shit, look at that guy's nose. Oh my god. Look at that nose. Dude. Hold up. Okay, dude, I have to make a comparison. Hold up here. Okay, hold up. Look. Zoom in. You know who this looks like? Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, holy shit. This looks like Chuck Schumer. This is like spitting image Chuck Schumer, one of the greatest and most noble American politicians. That's crazy.
WoW. They're still here, people playing them. We also got an overwhelming amount of stinkers, some real stinkers that are not around anymore. MMOs were peaking.
I was going to ask, okay, look at this list of MMOs here that came out like immediately after WoW. I wonder, let's do like a 5-year sample, okay? Of all the MMOs that came out between 2005 and 2010, all of these here, how many of them made money? How many of them actually ultimately turned a profit, or were the majority of these just a complete money sink and it was big mistake? I don't know.
In the mid-2000s, it was the thing to do. It was the style of game that players wanted to play. Even the projects that saw short-term success but didn't really survive, some still to this day have community-backed projects, private servers, to keep the community alive. All these MMO games meant a lot to people. They proved to be this genre of game that you truly did become a part of. And even though the MMO scene was kind of slowing down in the late 2000s, early 2010s, games like Guild Wars 2 and Star Wars The Old Republic made their entry into the MMO scene and kind of picked up the stragglers that maybe weren't really happy with their games anymore or didn't really scratch the itch they wanted, and were still able to give a lot of players their home base of a game. 2013 unknowingly became the grand finale of MMOs. It was the year of revival, because in February we got old school RuneScape, and in August we got Final Fantasy XIV, both of them existing for the sake of redemption. RuneScape's main game was at an all-time low. Final Fantasy's first MMO, like 3 or 4 years earlier, was a huge flop, so both these companies basically tried again. And now 11 years later, it's safe to say that both of them did something right.
They did pretty well.
Confirmed. Since then, there's been a few notable MMOs that have come out, and they did okay. Elder Scrolls Online, Albion Online, Black Desert Online. These games are online, in case you were wondering. Lost Ark, New World, but none of them really made the impact they were probably hoping for. It's almost as if all players interested in MMOs have kind of found their place and stayed there. It really is kind of like finding your home base, and that's just where you retreat back to at the end of the day. We're all kind of safe and cozy in our MMOs right now, kind of making the most of it. But even though the kings are up there on that hill, it doesn't mean they're resting up there comfortably.
Isn't it insane? The best MMO... Okay, I think we can all agree. The two best MMOs of all time, Vanilla WoW, just look at the numbers, okay? You might not personally, it might not be your personal flavor. You look at the numbers, you look at the metrics. This is quantitatively true. Vanilla WoW and old school RuneScape. RuneScape as it was in 2005, 2004, these are the GOATs, okay? Like, these are the GOATs. And so, the two best MMOs ever came out in what, 2005? It's been 20 years. Where are the new good MMOs? I don't know.
The wrong mistake could send them tumbling down at any moment. Those profitable, successful games up there, they got up there with blood, sweat, and dev tears. A lot of mostly dev tears. We now have insight to another reason of why creating an MMO is a really dumb idea. Money.
Money. Beautiful.
Microtransactions have played a significant role in keeping these games alive. They've got to pay a staff to maintain and update and create for the game so that they keep their players there. They've got to pay for these massive servers. I don't even know how much those things cost. And also making sure that they meet the quota so that the very top executive owner of the company gets the salary that they've written for themselves.
Question, is Jagex milking their players?
Well, yeah, it's quite a big question.
And whatever they need to do to get there
That's a big question.
is what they gotta do. Subscriptions by themselves cannot sustain an MMO. It could pay for WoW in 2007 when everybody was paying a $15 a month subscription on top of buying a $40 expansion every other year, but even that caught up. They have a shit ton of microtransactions, and obviously that's more of a problem.
This is my very 2024 take. I don't care if an MMO sells cosmetics. What I do care
Hope
about...
all is well with you and the family.
Everything is very good. Thank you, Cylindro. Thank you. All I care about is player power. As long as you can't directly purchase player power in the game, this is level boosts, this is gold, this is bigger bank slots, things like that, XP boosts, that's unacceptable to me. That's a deal breaker to me. I don't like that at all. If you're buying mounts and tabards and pets, I don't give a shit, whatever.
For the MMOs that make it big and they have all of these expenses, but any game that sees this big success is going to eventually run into this problem of how do we afford to keep this going. Back at my home base, I give Jagex a lot of money every year through subscriptions.
Yep.
I pay for my subscriptions on multiple accounts, as do other people, and Jagex makes millions off of players giving them monthly subscription money. But you may have noticed while we're over here frolicking in our flower...
Would people buy cosmetics if they only showed on their screen? I'm sure some people would, but I think way fewer people would buy cosmetics if only they could see them. You know what would be a curious design concept to incorporate into an MMO? Okay, you can buy cosmetic items, cosmetic appearances, skins, whatever, but also on your client side, there's a button in your settings. You open up your in-game settings, and there's a button right here that says disable, disable viewing cosmetics. So if you click the button, then any cosmetic any other player has purchased, you don't see it, and it defaults back to the OG skin. Or to the OG appearance. That would be cool. That actually would be really cool. But here's the catch. In order to unlock that button, you need to spend $10. You need to unlock the functionality.
Hours of polls and community involvement and fun.
It's genius.
Our brothers and sisters over at RuneScape 3
evil.
cannot say the same.
Is Jagex actually this oblivious? We're in a time where RuneScape, at least according to the majority of the vocal player base, feels like it's being neglected, and as someone who's been covering the news and following the game actively for years now, I also think it's being neglected. How does a company with hundreds of employees and, according to the most recently released financial statements, £137 million in revenue, have the audacity to recolor a 3-year-old outfit and sell it as part of some kind of limited edition pack?
RuneScape 3 has been contaminated with regularly updated, toxic cash-grabbing microtransactions. It's experiencing increments of worse. Players...
Well, this is my take on RuneScape 3. If you are... RuneScape 3 has been bad, this bad, for a long time. 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you could say. Okay, they had the Squeal of Fortune which was just microtransaction, gambling, slot machine, pay-to-win functionality in 2012. 2011, maybe you had the Squeal of Fortune in RuneScape. Okay, it's been bad for 12 years or maybe 13 years. I think Jagex knows anyone that is still playing RuneScape 3, they're brain dead. They're brain dead, and they actually like this stuff. And so Jagex knows they can just do whatever they want to these people, and they're just going to take it. They're going to accept it. Whatever, fuck them. And honestly, seriously, fuck them. Whatever. Maybe those people, maybe they like it. They like this stuff. There's a new crystal capsule on the gem store. I got to open up the gem shop. Oh, there's new gem crystal capsule content. I got to spend my money now. They like it. They get excited about it. Whatever. Fuck, I don't know.
It's just begging the devs to please stop, as if the devs have any control over it. RuneScape 3 is the soldier spreading its arms, protecting us from projectiles while we sleep soundly.
This image is actually probably true. RuneScape 3 makes the money, so the OSRS players can have fun and do their thing. Okay, you know, it's probably true. In the very same way that the reason why Classic WoW is like not completely microtransactioned, it actually now these days it is pretty much, but most of the money is made by retail. Okay, yeah, now Cataclysm is totally whatever, they're doing the whole thing, but the reason why we don't have microtransactions on the Classic era servers, for instance, or SOD, right, is because of retail. They're making their money on retail.
Telling the devs that we're not fond of this idea they think they're having. But what I'm trying to say is that even old school RuneScape, as one of the most populated MMORPGs in modern gaming, only exists because RuneScape 3 offers microtransactions. Because what you've spent on old school RuneScape membership subscriptions in the last 6 years, 10 people spent that same amount yesterday on RuneScape 3 keys. Those are the players that Jagex needs, not you, not me. MMOs are expensive to make and they're expensive to maintain. Which, by the way, whoever over at Amazon Games thought that a one-time purchase of a $40 game was going to be enough to sustain a huge MMO, what are you doing? What did you think was going to happen? And then who decided that microtransactions were going to be your next alternative? And this is what you have in the store. They practically begged to not make money.
No one's gonna buy that shit.
What's
Yeah, it was ugly.
fucking cracking, baby?
Man, New World could have been so good though.
The biggest problem that new MMOs are going to face are getting a true player base. Not the players that are there on day one seeing how long they can wait in a queue. Not even the ones that invest 200 hours and experience a little bit of endgame. I'm talking about the true player base. The player base that if your game shuts down,
like
they will be
Flippy.
on the front lines doing whatever they can
MMOs need players like Flippy the Blue Dog in Toontown. That's what you need.
to create their own version of your game, some sort of backup code to keep the community alive. Those are the players that you're looking for. They're there because they love the game. They're there for real. And those are going to be extremely difficult to get because chances are they already have that game. They're already a part of that community. And most of them aren't going to be feeling that way about multiple MMOs. At this point, new MMOs have to pull their player base from other MMOs. You're going to be trying to pull players from WoW and from Final Fantasy and from RuneScape and Guild Wars 2. The players that already know what they like and dislike about massive multiplayer online games, which means that by default, a new MMO is immediately competing with the top of that hill. Could you imagine trying to enter that space and these are the guys you're standing next to, trying to gain their players? Good luck. The best kind of player base to get for a brand new MMO is a new MMO player. Ones that haven't experienced the other ones yet, and you're going to be their first experience, which would mean trying to appeal to the iPad babies, the TikTok brain. So
Dude, I was gonna say, this kid is like 9. Is he streaming on Twitch? Dude, this kid should be at school.
fucking Fortnite Warzoners. You know, the ones that can't even hold their attention to short form content unless there is a video below the main content that has some car surfing on ramps so that their weird brains allow them to stay there. Dude, drop a 14-year-old into vanilla WoW Northshire and see how long it takes for their brains to start freaking out because there's not enough colors and numbers. The generation
That's true. No, listen, in order to be a level 1 human in World of Warcraft Northshire Valley, you have to be very high IQ. That is true.
following us is not going to really be interested in this slower paced MMO style that we fell in love with. Why would they run around Elwyn Forest or go kill goblins in Lumbridge when in that same time frame they could have had 3 adrenaline-pumping Warzone games to feel dopamine from? They don't chase the same numbers going up that we do. It makes me wonder if the generation following us, when they get to be our age, if they're going to be more interested in goal-oriented things like long-term MMO goals. I don't see new generations coming into MMOs, and I don't see current MMO players jumping to a new one when they've already established their community and love for one that they've been a part of for years.
I think probably what's happening is every single year that goes on, the average MMO gamer gets older and older. Like whatever the average World of Warcraft age is right now, let's call it, what do you think, like 30, 27, whatever that number is not static. It's not staying 30. Next year, if it's 30 this year, Next year, it's going to be 31. And the year after that, it's going to be 32. And the year after that, it's going to be 33. The average is going up. Why? Because all the players are getting older and new younger players are not joining. That seems to be the case. We're all dying.
I think the current games that we have in the MMO.
This theory is called, I just got done talking to Tucker Carlson about this. The theory is called the Great MMO Replacement. MMO players are being replaced at an astounding rate, and we need to be worried about it.
Space are going to remain there, at least for as long as both the players and the devs have that desire. In order for an MMO to take the reins, become the next big thing, to really be the game changer, it's going to have to be very outside the box. Never done before, a big risk. Chances are the next MMO to really overtake these or even see equal success as these hasn't even been thought of yet. But I just have this strange feeling that the next MMO that comes out that has 6 classes to choose from, a woodcutting skill, and 2004 ass fetch quests is not going to be the one to see themselves at the top of that hill with those. It's just a hunch. I don't know. This Ashes of Creation game I've seen talked about for like the last 3 years is supposedly going to be the MMO that changes everything.
AOC is going to kill not only every MMO, but it's going to kill every video game. Fortnite will die. Minecraft will die. WoW will die. Guild Wars 2 will die. RuneScape will die. Every single gamer is going to be playing Ashes of Creation. There will be peace on earth, global peace. Putin is going to be too busy playing AOC to continue attacking Ukrainian people. The Jews, the Muslims, the Palestinians, Gaza Strip, everyone's going to lay down their arms. They will say, listen, let's stop all this real life stuff. Let's log into AOC and let's get gaming, says Benjamin Netanyahu, says Hamas. Hamas is going to make a guild in AOC. They're going to be a top 1% rating guild probably. Let's go.
They had this dev blog
Peace on Earth
come out at the end of March,
Peace
and
on
I was
Earth.
like, okay, this looks cool. And on the side of the screen, I see some quests about killing 20 goblins. And I'm like, no fucking way that this is the revolutionary thing. The next big MMO is not gonna have kill 20 goblins as a fucking quest, I promise. They've already lost in my eyes. There's no way, there's just no way another one of those is gonna be the one to be up there. I don't know. There's a few things that I believe the next big MMO needs to do differently. I think the #1 priority is to come up with a structure that eliminates the locust swarm effect. Finish this as fast as possible. Get to max level as fast as possible. Get to the end game, the best in slot, the min-maxing as fast as possible. It's a real shitty habit that we've developed with video games, especially MMOs recently. I think it's played such a big role in the overall downfall of MMOs, why everything feels underwhelming now. Unfortunately, I think as long as a game structure exists that allows for that kind of mentality, it's not going to find the success that it would have found.
Wait, I want to look at those thumbnails here. Yeah, this is what it is. These are MMO thumbnails. Super fast raid, rotation guide, speed leveling, true. 90 minutes, flat, true.
Structure exists that allows for that kind of mentality. It's not going to find the success that it would have found back when we weren't playing games like that, in the golden age of MMOs, when things were actually enjoyed. That's why we want to play games solo now. It's why you can get from level 1 to 70 playing by yourself in WoW. And that's not going to make for a successful MMO. You might as well just make a single player game. Other MMOs would benefit a lot by trying a more RuneScape style quest system, where it feels almost like a mission with a lot of benefits afterwards, rather than just the same generic copy-pasted coding of a quest of going and getting 10 mushrooms on a tree and bringing it back for XP. It's the reason why a game like RuneScape, which people have only...
So I have to be honest, I much prefer World of Warcraft style questing to RuneScape questing. RuneScape questing is like too multi-phasic and involved. I just like banging out quests, right? Now, I've played a lot of RuneScape, okay? So the thing I do like about RuneScape quests that I think he's kind of talking about here is you have these giant quests, and after you complete them, you've unlocked your Barrow's gloves, your Dragon scimitar. Okay, there's stuff like that. That's cool, and I do like that. Or your ancient magic staff. Okay, I like that. That's cool. Maybe a union of the two. Maybe a union of the two. You merge those two systems. So you have like World of Warcraft style questing, but some big, giant, very cool unlock at the end of a series of quests. Like at the end of like a series of World of Warcraft style quests. A union of the two. Let's see.
He's poked fun at its graphics feels more alive than a game with fucking Unreal Engine 5. It's the way it feels when you're a part of that world. And I think a lot of MMOs kind of look the other way when it comes to structuring things like that. They're too scared to try something else for progression. I don't know, they just play it too safe. The world has to feel alive and everyone's end goal can't be the same. I'm not a game dev, I'm just a consumer. I complain. My role here is to complain. I'm not the guy. If I knew what this next MMO looked like, I would be trying.
Chad, I want to let you guys know, I am that guy. I could make the best MMO of all time. I just don't feel like it. I could do it though. I could do it. I could make the best MMO ever of all time. I'm just not in the mood to do that. Someday maybe I'll change my mind someday. Maybe. We'll see.
To make it. I
Maybe.
promise you I would. I don't think any
like it.
current game devs have really wrapped their head around what it takes to bring an MMO to the next level, but I think with a lot of emerging game engines and technology we're capable of now, we're eventually going to see that thing that really makes our eyes widen and our mouths salivate. It's gonna happen. Could be a year from now, 10 years from now. Our generation.
You know what it's going to be, man? Like, okay, MMOs are going to just continue slowly dying until VR technology, like 20 years from now, gets to the point where you can actually, like, be inside of the MMO. You're in the... And also, the MMO is generated via... It's AI VR MMO, where the world is being built and expanding at all times. It's being generated on an AI algorithm, and you are actually inside of it 20 years from now. This is like some fucking Ready Player One type shit, okay? But okay, that's actually probably where it goes.
Of MMO players, probably the only generation of MMO players, are going to be looking for that game, and we'll know it when we see it. But for now, I think we're just going to be cozy in the games that we play. For a more optimistic look, I think if RuneScape has taught me anything, other MMOs have really not experimented with shit. They have not really opened up the sandbox of themselves. The fact that World of Warcraft just recently released a hardcore version after it took someone developing an entire plugin to do it just kind of shows how they haven't really tried shit yet. And
it's scared, it's risky. I will tell you though, see, like SOD, Blizzard is getting more experimental over the last 12 months. Maybe this is as a consequence of Microsoft acquiring them, I'm not sure. SOD, Mop Remix, Hardcore, Plunder Storm. In the last 12 months, 4, really, let's be honest, very experimental game modes. Hardcore, SOD, Plunder Storm, Mop Remix. Blizzard is, they're kind of getting out there. They're trying more things. They're seeing what's up.
And the fact that they just tried a battle royale is even funnier. They're trying, you know, we'll give it to them. Blizzard's trying. They might be 10 years too late to the battle royale boom we mentioned earlier, but they're trying, and we've got to give them that credit. Blizzard has done everything in their power to self-destruct, and they're still standing. It's incredible. If they're not going down by now, they're never going down, all right? That company's here to stay, which gives me confidence that other MMOs will be here to stay too. So we don't really have anything to worry about when it comes to our favorite games, our cozy home base being gone. And I think a lot of MMOs need to take advantage of this world that they've created and the different capabilities their engines have, and look and see how they can approach things differently, like RuneScape has with hardcore modes, Iron Man modes, and region locks with leagues, restricted game modes, challenges, people like watching challenges. And I think a lot of the big MMOs nowadays have the ability to implement something like that to keep their current active player bases occupied and entertained.
I'm going to say it. There is not a single person that plays Final Fantasy XIV that is not a porn addict. Every single one of these people is addicted to pornography. all of them. Every single
for a
one
long
of them.
time. And all that being said, I
Every
truly hope
single
I
one
look
of
like
them.
an idiot a week from today when that next big thing is announced. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I think there's a future for MMOs, and we'll all be here for it. Anyway, I think that's all I got. I've been putting together the house video. It's just 5 days of
Damn,
a lot of
people.
footage. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. I also have a special project I can't really talk about right now, but I'm working on that beginning of May. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. Great seeing you. Take it easy.
This was a really good video. That's a great video. Do you guys think it's too late for New World to come back? Do you think New World could come back someday? Dude, New World 2.0. Let's go. We need classic New World. We need classic New World, season of New World, no changes, New World fresh. Let's go. New World fresh, no changes, season of New World, reboot, remix, remix it, no changes. Okay. I'm gonna link that, dude. This video was like way better than I had thought it was gonna be. That's a really good video.